So they're moving right along. They want to buy the easternmost, the property's divided up into 4 pieces.
Right.
They want to buy the easternmost piece right off of Zephyr.
And put all of that on that little space? Wow,
Well,
that's a lot.
that's what they're saying. So I don't know. I think when they start measuring it all out, they may need a little more land.
Yeah, I was thinking you're gonna do the whole thing, with all
Yeah.
of that.
Well, yeah,
But that was my, I mean, it
'Cause
just
really-
looks small to me.
you need the pumps, you need the pump islands, you need the EV stations, and then the strip mall will be toward the back of the property. So, you don't have in that situation, you don't have a person sitting behind bulletproof glass selling cigarettes and candy bars.
Right.
It's basically self-service. You go in there,
Right.
fill up, and then your card is charged, and that's the way it goes.
Hmm.
So I welcome something like that. They've done a lot of research on the EV thing, and it's not necessarily being built for the people that have EVs in this neighborhood. It's being built for the people that travel up and back on 12.
Which would make sense.
I mean, you can go home and plug your car in and wait all night for it to charge, or you could stop by the EV charging station, which has the quick chargers, and charge your whole car up to 80% in 20 minutes.
And go get a sandwich.
And go get a sandwich and, get your car washed afterwards and whatever, so.
Right.
I think they've got a good idea, they just need to figure out how to implement it all. So Jolene has turned them on to several different people to help them with, starting the construction and looking at the plans, the layout and all that stuff. So they've got some help.
Okay.
So hopefully they'll move forward on that. So any questions on that? And I told them that, the EDA would welcome helping them out, I suggested that, maybe we could negotiate a split of the whack and sack fees, the water access and sewer access charges, to help them get things developed out there. So hopefully, we'll be able to help them out a little bit. So, 3 really nice guys. And they have their financing, they have their support, their investors, so.
Where are they from?
Watertown,
Oh,
yeah.
well, I support somebody who's local.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah, it's not a big corporate conglomerate, trying to move in.
Right.
So. And then, since we lost out on Aldi, David Paradise, who's a council member, he's got some connections through his business, his employer, with Hy-Vee.
Mhm.
And they're trying to get a meeting scheduled with Hy-Vee to put a Fast and Fresh in here, the smaller store, very similar to what Aldi has to offer.
Right.
So I'm good with that too.
There's one down in Glencoe, isn't there? Something similar?
Something, yeah, I don't know. Is that a Fast and Fresh?
I don't
wasn't
think
sure.
it's a Fast and Fresh, but I know it's a Hy-Vee affiliated
Oh, it is?
store.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
So it's off of 212.
okay.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it offhand.
Hmm.
But, because I go, my parents live down that direction,
Okay.
so I go through there all the time.
Yeah.
I look.
Got Kirby's on the speakerphone.
Oh,
Something, I'm gonna mute mine.
something
Just
happened
in case
over
it's
there?
taking minutes. Okay, there shouldn't be any feedback now.
Hey Kirby.
Hey, so the Hy-Vee stuff, basically they told David that they're focusing right now on southeast Minnesota, and so they're not looking up in this area right now for putting any of that stuff out.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, last I talked to David earlier, let's see, it was last week, he told me that they were still waiting to have a meeting.
Yeah, he said that's what he was told when they had their meeting about the alcohol sales and whatever the business he has going on with them. But when I talked to him last, he said that they are focusing right now on southeast Minnesota, but they're gonna keep us in their thoughts for expansion this direction.
Okay. All right. I don't know what our alternatives are, what else we have. I mean, you're not gonna get a Cub or anybody to build out here, that's for sure.
Okay, so this is just an interesting thought, because I was looking, it's called Dollar Fresh Market,
Dollar Fresh?
that's what the Hy-Vee place is in Glencoe, but there's also a Mexican grocery store, what if, you know? There's a bigger Mexican market out here, I mean, are lots of Mexican people who live in this area, just saying. Something to, I don't know.
Well, and the one thing too, that we could try having somebody reach out to Dollar General and seeing if they would expand their services, because the Dollar General in Delano has fresh fruit and all of that. So why can't they have that in Montrose?
It's a bigger store, isn't it, in Delano?
I don't know if it's bigger, but it's for sure definitely laid out in a better way with more,
Less junk and more good stuff, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I guess that's a nice way of putting that.
Yeah, the one here, they're challenged. I mean, they say they have they have the most overhead, or the most people coming in and going out, but they have no extra work. So people cannot get to do all the unloading and everything, because I talk to people who work there all the time. It's a challenge.
And they don't have enough staff to cover any of that either.
Yeah, and then when they do get shipments in, it sits in the middle of the aisle for, seems like a week before it gets all put away, so, I guess, you know, hiring employees is still an issue for people.
Yeah, we can't hire anybody at my work either. They've been struggling at other location to try to find anybody to apply, so.
Is it because they're not qualified, or there's just a shortage of people?
We will take anybody that has a high school degree, so.
Heartbeat.
In a heartbeat, yeah.
It's just people not applying, but yeah.
Oh,
Isn't that the land that they're looking at for that charging station, isn't that several acres out there?
I don't know, you know, it's divided up into 4 pieces. And what Steve was telling me, they were looking at the easternmost chunk. So I don't know how many acres that is.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the first chunk, the house sits on it, right? So it's a very small piece. But I think once they start penciling things out, they may realize that, you know, with a car wash and a strip mall and charging stations and pumps, they're probably going to need a little more than that last quarter.
Jill had told me something about, there was a survey posted on Facebook about it, that like the state was looking for information.
Well, the state is in the process of putting together a plan for EV charging stations. And I sent that information off to Steve and his partners so they could review it. And, you know, I said, if anything, you guys could be first in line to put a station in on Highway 12.
Yeah.
So I'm feeding them all that information. I'm getting quite a bit of stuff from Jolene Voss. I don't know if you heard the part where I said, you know, Neil from the U of M dumped a whole bunch of stuff in my email before I left for the county meeting this morning. So I haven't had time to review it, but I noticed there's EV analysis data in there, and there's retail space, food, what the normal retail or the space for retail for food is. I mean, there's a whole ton of information, so I'm going to look through it and then see what's pertinent to them and then go ahead and forward it on to them. So he's a wealth of information. So I'm going to have to check out this Dollar Fresh and see what that is. Usually it's definitely Hy-Vee.
Yeah, that's what I was told.
Oh, okay.
I won't guarantee that, but
Okay,
you know.
I can check it out. Okay. All right, I'll do that.
Yeah, they are owned by Hy-Vee.
Dollar Fresh is?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the difference between that and Fast and Fresh?
I don't know, but I know what she's talking about now. I've seen it there outside of Glencoe, so.
Okay. All right. Well, that's kind of where we are on future development and opportunities in town. I wanted to talk a little bit about the chamber, you know, because, you know, we're involved in the chamber, and Rob, I don't know if you're in the chamber or not yet, or if anybody's okay, we have a situation where, you know, Rob kind of moved his operation in first by Justin's and then moved it from there over here, and no one has gone in and talked to him about it. And I know, you know, the chamber has a problem, we don't have any full-time people, or even part-time people. But it's like, I wonder how many of those kinds of things we're missing out on, you know, people doing businesses out of their homes and stuff like that. Because it'd sure nice to be able to do what we were talking about doing in terms of videos and advertising and all that, you know. That doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Well, part of it is, it truly, for my, you know, I can speak freely for myself only,
Yeah.
it's a lack of time.
Yeah.
I've pretty much been working 10, 12-hour days every day.
Sure.
So like yesterday, I was there at 7:15 and I left at 8:30. So,
Wow.
and I'm not talking morning, you know, so.
Sure, yeah, no, I understand.
So it's a lack of time.
Yeah.
That is the struggle for me, always will be.
And how many renewals did we get at the new number, at the 125?
You know what, I can't speak to that right at
Okay.
this moment,
Okay.
okay? I can sure get that information for you and
Yeah,
bring it next
I'm
time.
just trying to figure out, you know, because part of the intent was to put that money in the coffers to be able to hire somebody,
Mhm.
you know, a few hours a week or whatever. You know, we're paying the guys who are compost pile out here $17 an hour, so that's the going McDonald's rate anymore, which totally blows my mind, but it is what it is.
We're getting a little bit of help through, you know, working with the part-time person at the Buffalo Chamber,
Mhm.
and it's helping to get some of those things done. You know.
Okay.
It's just not, you know, both, like Joel, Justin, and John and myself, we're all busy
Mhm.
running businesses and
Yeah.
working.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't trying to put the
Yeah.
blame on anybody, I was just, you know,
That,
trying
and
to air what the issue is, you know.
so, yes, that's what we'll have to look at, is how we can be more pertinent. And I think with her putting stuff out on Facebook and everywhere else, and she's sent out renewals, and it's more than we've done. So now it's the next step. And that becomes you know, for all of us that we're volunteers, do
Yeah.
we take away from our own business, or do we, and now I will be freed up a tiny bit, because I do have a full staff at the moment. For a while there, I had little or no staff.
Well, how do we plug the leaks in the duct, like with Rob? You know, Rob hasn't heard from anybody from the chamber. How do we do that?
Do we have a city list of businesses?
No, of course not.
There's part of it.
See, the licenses don't come through the city, they come through the county.
I
Okay,
think Jess actually got a list last year of businesses, including ones out of people's homes. I don't know if it was late last year or.
Is that from Neil?
But
Is that from Neil, the guy that did the study out here?
I think it was from, I thought it was from the county, but it could be from him. But I could have sworn that they got a list of the businesses in Montrose, because it included everything from daycares to like individual like seamstresses that were in town and handymen.
Huh. That would be a nice piece of information to share with the chamber.
I'll have to ask her about that when she gets back, because
Yeah.
I could have sworn that we had talked about it last year.
Yeah.
I think that list is, I don't know if I haven't seen the current list she has. Previous lists have been old and very outdated. You know, like, I
Mhm.
know some of those businesses are no longer in
Mhm.
existence. And if you go out on the internet and look at business lists, you know, because I've done that in order to have people join like our BNI group, or reach out to people about the, you know, BNI and everything, same thing. It's an outdated list, and it's like, okay, then I have to do more research. Well, then I had
Yeah.
a little bit more time, and now this last 6 months, not so much.
Yeah, a lot of those databases are a little wacky, because I typed in nearest Chinese restaurant near me, and it gave me Casey's, and,
Oh.
what was the other one? Oh, the Mexican, restaurant over here, and.
Because it said restaurant.
One other one, yeah. It's
The
like
best one near you is in Cokato.
Chinese restaurant?
Yep,
Huh,
it's called Lucky Kitchen, they're not open on Mondays.
Now you know.
okay, I just wrote that down, so,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's by the fire department, the brand new fire department in Cokato,
okay.
right off of Highway 12.
Right on the east side there.
Yep,
Okay, cool. I've been going to the Vietnamese place there in Delano, it's pretty good.
yeah, I like that place.
Yeah. Viet Pho or whatever it is.
Yep.
Okay. So, you know, it's the age-old problem, I've probably been saying this for the 3 years I've been on the chamber, involved with the chamber, is that, you know, there's a lot of things to do and no one has any time to get it done, you know, that's the problem.
It is truly.
So, yeah, I
It
know,
truly
I
is.
know, Yep. So,
Is Headlands going to be joining, or did they already join?
I'm not sure if they have yet. I haven't really pushed that rope. I know Sarah has been to the chamber. Sarah was part of the chamber.
Mhm.
Yep,
So I anticipate that, but don't know
Yeah.
if they have.
Yeah, we don't even know when the official open is yet, do we, Kirby?
I saw people in there eating on Saturday morning when I drove by.
You did?
So what they were doing a soft opening for
That's what I
families.
figured.
So I talked to somebody today that has a couple of kids that are working there, so they were, everybody could invite one person,
Mm,
and then they would serve them to practice serving, and
okay.
especially when you're starting a brand new, they do that a lot in new restaurants to
Yep,
get people trained in.
That's kind of what I figured when I saw the cars out there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Dry run or,
Right, yep,
okay, good. So she's close. I know the still hiring sign is up.
they're still looking for a cook, I believe, and I heard there was still some permits and things that are
Mm.
holding them up, so.
Okay. I know they were waiting for the state plumbing inspector since last December.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's unreal.
And all because it was, it would have been sweet if it wouldn't have shut down completely, because then you're not grandfathered in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is true. All right. Are there any needs that you have, Rob?
Nothing I can think of.
No?
No?
Things are just going fine for you out there, huh?
Yeah, no, we're busy.
Do you have any issues hiring people?
Well, I got a full staff now. I'm losing a guy in September, so I'll be looking here next couple months again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have enough people for my space and my activities, so.
Sure. Good.
What kind of person are you looking for?
The one that's leaving is a trained certified technician, so that's what I'd like to find to replace him. I got a couple trainees and 2 certified guys, so.
Okay.
Are they ASC or VW certified?
Yes.
ASC. Good. And when you start looking for those people, where do you go to look for them?
Well, the last 2 that we found via our Facebook posting.
Hmm. Okay.
So we've tried the Indeed operation, and that was useless for us.
Yeah.
We got lots of applicants, but somebody in Arizona, and that was the weird part.
Huh.
So I think some of those are canned responses probably, or
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah.
How about you, Dr. Sonia? Do you have issues when you go to hire people? Finding
Yes.
them? You do?
Yes. Indeed has been a struggle. A lot of people who start and then quit. It's like, okay, I've been there 1 week, not coming back.
Now, are they trained? I mean, they have to be trained.
We're in the process of training them. We have 1 weekend, did all the paperwork,
Oh, okay.
all the we train. We'll train, they don't have to have any experience. I'll train everything. 1 week and then they're gone. So that's frustrating. So I gave up on Indeed and it was word of mouth. And so now I'm also looking for another doctor because I would like to eventually do a tiny bit less. But that's my next adventure, now that I'm getting my staff trained.
Sure.
But otherwise, yeah, word of mouth has been the best one so far.
Does LinkedIn, do you use LinkedIn at all?
For staff, for doctors?
Yeah, or for doctors and?
No, I've not used LinkedIn, because I don't really want somebody with, they don't need to have any special certifications.
Okay. Just looking for somebody with strong hands and a.
Not even strong
willing
hands.
spirit.
A willing spirit, organization like people.
Yeah.
That's for most of my staff, but then for the doctor, I have a specific websites and things like that to go
Okay.
on to find
Okay.
doctors.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, because I mean, if I had a business here, I wouldn't have the funding to go look for people. I don't do Facebook, so, and you never know. You had good luck on Facebook?
That's
So far?
my son, he's the Facebook guy
Yeah.
in our combo.
How old is he?
He is 32.
Oh, yes, they definitely have a more of a affinity for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we have anything else we want to talk about? Other than the next meeting, May 17th? Kirby, how about you? Anything?
No, that's all I got. I'm still trying to look to try to recruit some sort of food business of some sort to show up here. So I've been looking at other businesses that are expanding out into the suburbs from the cities. So
Yeah,
I've been trying to make contact through, either managers or whatever, just to try to get some sort of company interested in coming out here. So
yeah, like a Jimmy John's or something like that would work too,
yeah, the problem with Jimmy John's is they're all individually owned. So I mean, if you want to put out like 40,000 or whatever it is to start one up, Tom, I mean.
Well, when you start a business,
That's the issue with some of those, is just getting the people to they have to buy into it themselves.
40,000 for a franchise is nothing.
I think that's cash on hand, and then you have to have a credit limit of up to, it was like 400,000 or something like that. So it was weird, because I was looking into it, because those are all individually owned, so people would have to want to expand that. So I've been still trying to contact a friend of mine that works for Raising Cane's, and the most recent one that I reached out to was Wingstop. So they're big out on the coast, and they have some in the cities. So when I heard they were expanding, so I reached out to someone up in their management department, but it's just been pretty much people are like, well, we'll put you on our list of possible expansions, but that's all you ever hear.
Yeah. Well, we can tell them that we are working with an outfit that's looking at putting in a strip mall with some space for a retail food outlet, then they don't have to look at what's it cost to build a building and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, even though it's not reality yet, these guys are going, full ahead. So I don't know. We need to do something to, attract something other than our local establishments here,
Oh, 100%.
I mean, look at the Red Lodge in Waverly. That place is packed all the time. They've got good food. I think the prices are right. The wait staff is competent, and they're doing very well.
Yeah, the issue with a lot of the ones that I talk to, whether it's people that are in the food industry or in groceries, that they say that they're looking at Delaware or Buffalo. It's like, why go there to compete with everybody else when you can come here and have a market all to yourself? But they don't see it that way.
Where have I heard that before? I think that's
Population
what
right there.
that's what I told the Aldi guy, and he, you know, he didn't care.
Yeah,
So, I said, you realize that you have 28,000 people that are closer to Montrose than they are any Aldi? And he didn't care. He said,
yeah,
how many people do you have in Montrose? That's all he wanted to know. I'm like, well, okay, the end of that conversation. So, okay, well, that's all I have, unless anybody else has anything else.
No.
All right,
No,
do I hear a motion to adjourn?
that's a move.
Second.
All right, all in favor, yay.
Aye.
All right,
Yay.
meeting adjourned.
Perfect.
Thanks, Kirby.
thanks, Michael.
Thanks for coming.